number 1. The first thing we have to do is start with this part. This is the y-intercept. That means on the y-axis, or this axis, the one that goes up and down, right? This is our y-axis. On the y-axis, we are going to look for -2. So we're going to make a point at -2 on the y right here. We're going to make it a little big so it's easy to see. And then we're going to use this part. And just a reminder, this part is called the slope. And the slope is always rise over run for when it's positive. When it's negative, we'll get to that later, but when it's negative, we go down instead of up. But if the slope is 4 over 3, we're going to go up 4. We're going to rise 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go over 3. So 1, 2, 3. This is our second point. And then we have 2 points, which is enough to draw our line. So we're going to go, it's going to look something like this. Ooh, I don't have a ruler that I can use. It's going to look something. I'm trying to make it as neat as possible. It's going to look something like this and like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you're using a sheet of paper, and please use a ruler, it'll be a lot neater, but because I'm doing it on my computer, it's a little bit difficult. So let's move on to the next line. I'm going to do the next line with blue. Again, we're always going to start with that number that's not connected to the variable, the number that's by itself. Sometimes it's at the end, sometimes it's in the beginning. The order doesn't matter. It's always going to be the one that does not have the variable attached to it. So this time we're starting at +3. So on the y-intercept, we're going to look for +3, put a point right there. And then we're going to go, remember we talked about this negative. Instead of going up 1, we're going to go down 1. So we go down 1. But when we go over, even though it's a negative fraction, it's just the 1 that's negative. So we're still going to go over to the right, 1, 2, 3. And my second point is going to be right here. So I have a line that looks like this, something like this. And it's going to keep going. And my point of intersection, or my solution, is going to be my point of intersection, which is right here. And this is, we have our x first and then our y, right? Our final solution should look like x comma y. Our final answer is going to be 3, 2. Alrighty, and that's it for number 1. And you can try number 2 on your own. The only tip that I would add is that when you have a whole number by itself, even though there's no denominator, you can just imagine -2 over 1. So if you have your starting point of 3, if you're starting at 3, we're going to go down 2 and over 1. And that is enough to make your line for that bottom one.